see what they've both gone for. Champions? It's unanimous. Jamie, I thought, given what I've just heard you say there about Virgil van Dijk, that you might have just talked yourself into Liverpool doing it again.
Well, I've just said before, he's not just one of the best centre-backs, he's one of the best players in the Premier League. You think of maybe Mo Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Harry Kane, these sort of 5 or 6 players who we always rate as some of the best. So he will make a huge difference. And don't forget, Liverpool finished 3rd last season with no centre-backs really. So it was actually a really good achievement in the end. Now, Man City are Man City. You know, Liverpool are the one team who've broken their spell up, if you like, once in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. Now, it will be a lot to do that again, and it took a lot for Liverpool to win the title and take them so close. We're talking almost going a season losing 1 game, the year after losing 3 games. I mean, it was unbelievable consistency. But I think right now, on the back of City, what you think they still may do in the next week, as well, who knows with Harry Kane. I think it'd be really difficult to stop them if Harry Kane went there. If Harry Kane doesn't go there and they don't have that recognised striker, you just spoke about Torres, I think it is much more of a fight. I think Chelsea are involved now, and I certainly think Liverpool are involved.
Do you think, you've got City there, do you think that's with or without Kane? Or do they have to sign Harry Kane for you to think they'll be pipping everybody else?
No, I think you've still got to go in Manchester City at this point just because of what they've done in the last few years. And Chelsea have still got to prove themselves. Manchester United have got to prove themselves. Liverpool have got to prove they can get back to that level they were before. We know City have been at a level, such a high level for so many years. There's nothing to tell us that they won't get to that level. There is that question of Aguero going and not being replaced, but they have got lots of contributors to goals, lots of 10s and 15s and 17s that can just chip away at getting goals. You know, do they necessarily need a 25, 30 goal striker?
Well, they didn't really have Aguero last season,
no.
Being totally honest. Didn't really play. I mean, that was, you know, in some ways last season was Pep's perfect way of playing, what he's always talked about, having a team of midfielders. That's what it felt like watching them, wasn't it? They didn't really have that recognised striker. But I think if you're Man City, I think if you're Pep Guardiola, you'll still want a top centre-forward in that team.
So they agree on who's going to win it. They also agree on the names in the top 4, but not the order. Both have gone with Chelsea as runners-up, but Gary thinks Manchester United will edge Liverpool, and surprise, surprise, Jamie thinks Liverpool will edge Manchester United. Why will Manchester United finish above Liverpool, Gary?
I just think they've got a better squad. I think Liverpool have got a better first 11, no doubt. But you know Liverpool, with a couple of injuries, do have that drop in level below that, whereas Manchester United, I don't think have that drop in level in any real position. You could argue Harry Maguire, but with Varane coming in now, I still think Manchester United, if you know Greenwood's not playing, it's Rashford, it's Martial, it's Cavani, there's still loads of players in each different position. In midfield, Pogba, Fernandes, Van der Beek, Matic, McTominay, Fred, they've got 6 players in midfield, so they could lose players, they could lose 2 players in each position, and I still think they'd be really strong. You know, if they lost 2 centre-halves, they've still got Bailly, Lindelof or Varane, Maguire. They've got a good pool of centre-backs. I think they've got a strong squad, and it's just better than Liverpool's, and it will deal with injuries better than Liverpool's.
I keep hearing you, Jamie, say that Manchester United shouldn't shy away of talk of winning the title, but you think they're 4th best.
Why are you smirking?
Smirk? Well, I actually think, I've said it before, I don't mean to be disrespectful. I think the managers of the other teams are maybe really, you know, they've got that pedigree of top clubs, you know, winning Champions Leagues, those 3 managers. So I think managers do make a huge difference. I've said this for a long time in terms of the numbers in Manchester United's squad. Even going back to when Liverpool were challenging for the league, certainly attacking options off the bench maybe compared to Liverpool. But I think Liverpool are a better team. I think they have a better manager. I think actually only finishing probably 6 points behind Manchester United last season, but having no centre-backs for most of the season. And I think maybe Liverpool are going under the radar with a lot of people, maybe myself included, that we're actually forgetting how good they were for a couple of years, really. And it's now back. Salah, Mane fresh over the summer, first summer they've had. So I think a lot of Liverpool supporters are quite happy that no one's actually tipping them to really push Manchester City when you actually consider what this team has already achieved over the last few years.
Well, moving on to overachievers. West Ham, you could probably put in that category last season, finishing 6th. Jamie's spoken about Brighton already, how impressed he's been with them. But, Gary, you've gone for Rafa Benitez's Everton, who've made a pretty good start.
I've been clear, I don't quite like the idea of the ex-Liverpool legend manager going to Goodison Park. Many Evertonians don't. But I've got no doubts about what he'll do as a performance. And I think he will make them have their best season for a long time. I think they could do what West Ham, Leicester did last season and get up to that 5th, 6th position. I think Everton have been striving to get close and challenge the Champions League. He'll get a lot of good results for them, and I think that's started already.
Why were you so critical of Rafa then last season at Newcastle if you rate him so highly now?
I wasn't critical of him at Newcastle. You're one of those people who sort of grabs part of an argument, plays it the way in which you want, sticks it in your little Mail Online column or whatever it is, and before you know it, it's grown into a rumour that doesn't exist. It's unbelievable, the misinformation that exists in society nowadays. Most of it comes from him.
There's one of Gary's big bugbears revealed tonight on Monday Night Football. Let's move it on. We're going soft because we wanted to talk about who they thought was going down this season, but they weren't prepared to talk about that. No. So we've said underachievers. Who's going to potentially struggle? Well, Jamie's talked about his concerns about Manchester United. We're not suggesting that...
What does that mean?
It means that I actually think Manchester United have got a squad capable, certainly, of really challenging and really pushing for the title. We've both said you've said they'll finish third. I've said they'll finish fourth. I think that's underachieving with the squad that they've got. You've just rattled off about 20 names who they've got. Every one of them is worth 50 million. But you still think they could finish in fourth and be a better team than last season?
Third, I said.
I know, but earlier on you said fourth.
It's how they finish third.
What's that mean?
Second, 25 points behind the leaders is a waste of time. But if they're third and they finish 6 points behind, they've been a challenge right to the end, that would still be progression.
The point is, I suppose, you could get 90 points, couldn't you, and still finish in third place.
I think Manchester United have got a squad, they should be thinking to challenge for the title. I mean, the money they spend.
Arsenal, what does underachievement look like for Arsenal?
Look, I think they've got a good young coach. I think that at the moment, I just worry about the sort of makeup of the squad. It doesn't feel right. That's not just because of the first 2 games. There's something just not right. They've got a mixture of young players that you can imagine are committed, desperate to do well, got talent. And then I think about sort of the guidance that I got as a young player at Manchester United from unbelievable senior players in that dressing room. I think Roy Keane mentioned it yesterday. And I don't think they've got the right direction around them and right structure. They've got a young coach as well, who obviously has got a massive job in front of him. But I just think that there's something missing there that will give those young players that ability to go and achieve what they want. Something's not right, and it could be a little bit messy and scabby. It could be a horrible little season. I don't know.
Top scorers, let's talk about some individuals in the Premier League. Jamie's staying true to Mo Salah. And Gary thinks Romelu Lukaku will continue his impressive start.
Could be Salah, could be Lukaku, could be Kane. And to be fair, you'd be guessing if you chose between the three of them.
Young talent, Emile Smith-Rowe. Jamie.
I'm a massive fan. Loved watching him last season. I think he's been outstanding, even though Arsenal made such a poor start to the season. But he was arguably the best player on the pitch in the Friday night football at Brentford. I think even some of his touches yesterday, when he took a ball in the second half and went on a little run, the way he moves with the ball, and very rarely do I see any player, even the top players, be able to receive the ball on the back foot on both sides, so he can take it with his left, then go with his right, and vice versa. And I'm a huge fan of his. What are you laughing at?
Sorry, I'm thinking ahead. I'm just thinking about Gary's chance to spread misinformation about what Jamie said last season about Kai Havertz.
But he fancied Kai Havertz. He didn't think he was anywhere near. Shouldn't have signed him. Wasn't anywhere near the money, etc., etc. I actually think Havertz.
Everything's saved. It's in the archive.
I actually think Havertz has gone up a level, but I also think he's in third gear. I think he'll go up to fourth gear, and I think he'll actually go to fifth gear, and I think he could become an absolutely great player. I think he's got that, when he really fills out into his body, and he will do, and he'll get stronger and more powerful. He's already a great runner with the ball. I think when he gets more confidence, more belief, in 2 years' time, I think we could be seeing someone who's absolutely there. Remember what Chelsea did with Eden Hazard? He went from here to here to here, and I think that's what Havertz will do.
Can I just confirm you don't disagree with anything that you've just said there? No, fine. OK, one to watch. Gary's gone for Paul Pogba.
Silence for him. It's unbelievable.
Not getting involved.
Oh, no, he hasn't gone for Paul Pogba.
I have the last 3 seasons. I'm intrigued to know. Look, he still intrigues me, Paul Pogba, to see whether he can become the best player in this league. But Varane, I want to see how Varane does for Manchester United. I think every United fan is. They're intrigued to know how Varane, this great player, World Cup winner, numerous Champions Leagues...
Why is he being held back? Thomas Tuchel said of Lukaku on Sunday, we bought him to play, he plays.
I think just letting him have a look at it. I think the confidence that he's got in Maguire and Lindelof, thinking probably he could go to Southampton and win that game with the team that he had. And just letting him have a look at the Premier League, not throwing him in too early. I do think, though, for me, the intrigue of... He's been one of the best centre-back pairings in world football for the last 5-6 years with Ramos. To see how we can build a partnership with Maguire is, I think, for me, takes Paul Pogba off the one to watch. And Paul Pogba is just, for me, is he going to go on and take Manchester United to a title? Is he going to go and, he started the season well, but is he going to go on and become the best player in the Premier League, which I think he's got in him to do, and that's why I always say one to watch.
What could Jadon Sancho do for Manchester United?
I think he could be a superstar, I really do. I think you look at his numbers in German football, at top leagues, at a top club. At Borussia Dortmund, they've been after him for a while, and Gary's mentioned this numerous times, that they need that player on that right side. At times, actually, I think he's as good on the left when you look at his stats at Dortmund. And as I said, you're getting a superstar from the Bundesliga, and you're getting a guy who's come in and won 4 Champions Leagues, and he still wants them in the top 4.
There we go. 7 out of 10, Gary?
The show? Yeah, 7 out of 10. Honestly, first show of the season, just take a nice 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Honestly,
just like his career,
6 or 7 out of 10, first Monday Night Football season, you're very happy with that.